hello, happy Monday. Hope you're having an incredible start to your week. I love starting my week on Mondays. I think Sunday is just a day to relax. So Monday, how are you? What are you most grateful for today? That's pretty fucking cool. I think I am right now most grateful for the beings in my life. I've never felt more in line with whom I can trust and who I'm close to and my family is and just all that. I'm grateful for Willie as well. If you didn't meet Willie, he's my new galactic friend. Funny story about Willie, quick funny story. When he was made gray. My friend Alyssa, if you're interested, please message directly Alyssa Cohen Raw. I'll put her information in the comments and things like that, so you will have please message her directly, she'll make one for you. But when he was made, he was gray, and it wasn't until I started wearing him that he turned this green color. So it's pretty magical. Definitely. So it's epoxy, there's nothing happening that can't explain it. It's pretty cool. So please message her directly if you're interested. His name won't be Willie, it'll have your own name. He'll have his own energy that comes through, and she'll be sure to let you know what the name is. And so that's awesome. So, or message me, I can connect, whatever is best for you. But I'm definitely super grateful for the beings and the people and everyone, my guardian angels, my aliens, everybody. I feel as connected as can be. After I record this, I'm going to sit in meditation for a bit. I connected to a new, I don't know, it's like not a being, it's like a past life, but it's happening now. It's like I'm connecting to a fractal of myself that I have connected to before, from like Egyptian time and space. And so I can see her now, she can see me now. It's really interesting. It's like this, I don't know if I've ever explained the flip book that I see sometimes whenever, like that's why, I ground and spend time every morning just to get back into this time and space, into this body. But sometimes if I have like deja vu, people call it deja vu, and you're like, oh, I've been here before, I know this place, or I know that. For me, the whole world, like everything around me starts to become a little bit of this like flip book, and I can see myself as like through my eyes, and then the whole thing changes, like the view changes, where I'm driving, I'm with someone, I'm in a different life, I'm in a different body, I'm in a different this, but it's just I can see it happening. And so in this situation, it's like I can see my hands, and I can go like this, and I can see these are my hands, and I'm awake. But then I can also see that version of myself, or her, this Egyptian queen, doing that with her hands and saying, am I awake? This is my body. And so it's really cool. We're engaging and interacting with each other. She's from the past, from ancient Egyptian time, but specific for like viewing this time right now, knowing that knowing about what we're going through right now, I guess, kind of like able to interact with interdimensionals in physical form there, knowing what's going to happen here and viewing it here, but also at the same time like seeing things. Like I was driving to get coffee, and she was so like, that's a car, and she's like, look at what she's driving. And like I was in my jam and mammas and like just kind of going to my local coffee shop, and she was just so fascinated by like just our everyday life, and looking at my phone and being like, oh my God, what is this thing? And so it was just kind of cool. And then I can go and look at her time, and she was posing for either a statue or a painting, or something was being made in her honor, and she was posing. And it was really cool. She like had, like, I was driving and I had like my hand up and stuff like that. It was really cool. And so it was just an interesting interaction, like engagement back and forth. But sorry, there's like lots of little things going off in the house. And so that was really fucking cool. I'm really excited about that connection, and I'm gonna spend a lot of time in meditation today, chatting with her. So that was fucking awesome. But I forget the intention that I wanted to go back to for today's video, which was a little bit of gratitude, but mixed in with having hard conversations, because having hard talks right now, or not hard talks, or let me rephrase, it's having to have that, am I or am I not going to do the thing that everybody's doing right now? And so when I've had a lot of conversations with people that are just under the assumption that everybody is going to be doing this, and to kind of, a lot of people are afraid to say, I'm not gonna do that. That's not for me. I trust myself. And it's this very odd moment of, we're almost afraid in a way to say that to someone, because we don't want a negative conversation. We don't want to lose a friend. I already lost a friend, like just instantly, when he found out that I wasn't doing the thing. And he was like such a sweet person, but immediately just goes, no, Sarah, not you, no. Like literally went like this in front of me. Like, no. And I was like, hey buddy, listen, I'm not looking to teach you anything. I'm open to having an appropriate, respectful dialogue about this. But if you want to end our friendship here right now, like that's totally okay. Like this is obviously really affecting you, and I'm okay with that. I've lost many people, including parents, because of my life choices and decisions and things like that. So it's totally okay. Like we don't have to suffer. And he was like, oh, no, well, no, obviously not. It's you. It's like, it's you. It's like, exactly. I talk to aliens. I sit with Jesus on a regular basis. I call him Joshua, but I'll use Jesus right now, because we should be very comfortable. Don't have to spew and say, this is what I think. Don't do this. Don't do that. Do that. Like, really. But if someone asks me directly my opinion, or if someone is expecting me to ooh and ah and say, oh, that sucks, like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I don't need to hold my opinion back if that's, the conversation that you're having. But what I'm finding is that there's almost like this assumption that everyone has to do this, is going to do this, and you don't have to do that. You can trust your sovereignty and trust your gut and trust you, your body, your connection to your guardian angels and your spirit guides, and say, no, I'm okay. Or not for me right now. That's okay. But so I kind of wanted to touch upon how, because the beginning of the weekend, I lost this friend a few weeks ago. And then over the weekend, I had a chat with a really good friend of mine, or a few chats, and I had to express myself and just finally say, like, I'm really sorry, but I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum of how you feel about this, and that's totally okie dokie. And that was that. And there was the little back and forth, because like I was like sweating inside, like I gotta pee my pants, like just by that I was like a little shaky, just being like, hey, just so you know, like I just don't share the same opinions as you. That's all. Like so I'm probably not the one to just be like, hey, what's, like whispers, gossip. That's something that I don't do anymore. And so it was, a little bit scary for me, definitely, in a way that it wasn't so scary. It's kind of like I was more intimidated by having the first conversations of those, and having that, like, what's going to happen? It's fine. What is the worst that's going to happen? Like, like I said, we're not pointing fingers and saying, this is what you do, you do this. But when you say, no, that's not for me, speaking from the I statements, it can sometimes trigger people. Definitely can. So a few things that I learned, I waited until the appropriate time felt right, where I felt as though this person's assumptions of me were way too far on one spectrum. And, I've changed a lot in the past year, and So, and I like to be very efficient in my processes. So for so many people that knew me even a few months ago, they're like, wait, you changed that much? I was like, yes. When I learn new information, I immediately will say, I'm sorry. This is how I feel now. I learned something new. Let's move forward. Um, and I know that speaking from any sort of codependency healing or healing from verbal abuse or healing from narcissists, healing from sexual trauma, healing from all these different like gaslighting, all this stuff, you can find yourself at some points seeing that people view you in the way that either they want to, they need to, or the version of you that was super unhealed, they're going to solidify in concrete and project over you when they're talking to you. So even if you could be the healed version of yourself, the healthiest version of yourself in the entire world, but they might still see you as the hot mess that you were when you were in your dark night of the soul and your ego death and your full-on spiritual awakening. Like, they might still see you as that bitch, and you're not that bitch anymore. You don't have to teach them that you're not that bitch, but they still have that view of you, which can sometimes be a little bit weird. So this person that I knew me in a different time, in a different place, and but was also aware of some of the stuff I've gone through in the past little bit. So it felt important for me just to let this person know that I don't share those types of opinions. And I said, just so you know, I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum of what you're speaking to. And so I am probably, like, I don't need to teach you these things. Like, you don't have to teach me anything. But just so you know, I don't share these opinions, so I feel differently than you do. That's all. I still love you. I still care about you. We can still talk about work stuff. We're working together. I care about your family. You care about me and my wellness and well-being. And so it only went to one other point that I felt, and because she'd said something that it was a waiter conversation. So I don't know if any of you know about that, where it's like it can go on for the entirety of the night. So you start it and you have to go do something, and then you continue with the conversation. So a story can go on for like 6 hours if you're in the service industry. So we were working together, so we went off, did our things, and then came back. And I forget exactly how it went, but she had just said, like, of course, that must have been a really hard choice to make. Like, a really hard choice. That's all she said. It must have been a hard choice. And I just stopped and I said, no, I'm really, I have to say it was as easy as breathing. I know my body so well that I know what's for me and what's not for me. And there's not a single person outside of me that can tell me what is best for me. So I said, and then I asked just to be as kind as I could, were your decisions easy or hard? She said, totally easy. Got one, got two, didn't even question it. It was right thing for me. And so I was like, that's awesome. The same thing that you feel, I feel. Safe, supported, sovereign, healthy, connected. So how fucking cool is that? That me not needing any external anything to come into me to make me feel what you received via a doctor or, a nurse or whatever that process is for doing the thing. The same thing that you got, I have inside me. Wow, cool. Sovereignty, safety, health, wellness. Stay in alignment with that. So I felt so grateful for these conversations with people, so supported by my sovereignty, my guides, my higher self, just saying, Sarah, breathe and experience this conversation. You're going to learn something from it. This is awesome. So I'm really grateful for my friends now, some that, are not, in communication with me anymore. Thank you. Thank you. You really helped me see and feel and experience the hard chats, the hard conversations that I'd built up in my brain to be so difficult. You helped me see that it was just a difference of opinions, and that easily, this can happen. Easily, you can just separate and, Not even separate, just continue to live your life. I just won't be an intrinsic part of it, and you won't be an intrinsic part of mine. No love lost. None. So that was cool. So that felt cool. So for this week, Willie and I would love if you maybe practiced in your own mind, in your meditation, what your fear is around expressing yourself to people who maybe share difference of opinions of you, and maybe just have some dramatizations in your brain of how the worst case scenario and the best case scenario can go. And then when the moment comes, you are ready to stand in your truth and sovereignty and not worry about what could happen. For example, anybody in your life, when they find out that you're not, because this seems to be a massive Pangea split, a massive divide, that it doesn't have to be. If you've done your inner work, you can set it up so that if someone who you're talking to is going to have that divisiveness, is going to have that fuck you mentality, you're ready to help transmute that anger. You're ready to help transmute the energetic reverberation from that moment. Keep it calm, keep it cool, keep it watered, keep it like easy breezy, easy breezy. So play it out. You're talking to someone, or someone in your life that, is very, very for, doing what it is that everyone's doing, and you're against that, and you're a little nervous to tell them about it. Play it out in your mind. Play it out in meditation. Sit down, put yourself in a circle of salt, or divine white light that I like to picture as little salt crystals, and pouring it around myself, and make sure that your higher self's there, and try it out. See what happens, and say, this is the best case scenario. The person's going to hear me say, hey, that's not for me. I'm okay with that. Are there other things that I can do to, if that person that you're talking to would be like, I don't want to be around you because of that. Respect their opinions if that's what it is. Ask them if there are other ways that you can connect or communicate, maybe via the telephone or FaceTiming with them if they don't want to be around you. But if an end of a relationship is what's necessary, play that out. Sit with it. Sit with it. And look at it. Be ready. You don't want to fight with someone to love you and to see you. You don't want to convince someone to be your friend. You're a fucking incredible person. I'm your friend. I see you. You see you. Your higher self sees you. God sees you. You don't need to worry at all about losing people in your life, because if you, standing in your own light, not trying to convince anybody else to do anything, if you standing in your power creates such disconnect with you and another person in your life, they're not meant to be there. They're not meant to be there, and that's okay. That's okay. You are so lovable and so okay to feel how you feel, and to choose what you're choosing, and to be your glorious self. Glorious motherfucking self. There's a little my Katharine Hepburn coming out in the end. Glorious motherfucking self. So, thank you. I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm so grateful for my friends and all of my beings and everybody that comes to these videos. I just couldn't be more grateful for you and your compassion and your grace. It's just unmatched. I'm very blessed to have such an incredible, grown-up, quirky, fun, feisty, interesting community. So thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up authentically in the world. And thank you for getting ready to have these hard conversations. Even the word hard, I don't like using. It's just big. It's exciting. You're learning how to grow. And it's super, super cool. It's intense as fuck. But I've used this analogy before, and it's really so poignant for this time, is, a seed that's planted in the ground. It's in the dirt, it's in the gugh, it's in the shit. and it's in there. The first moment it cracks open and starts to sprout, that must be uncomfortable. That must be painful. Like, you're right there and you're doing a beautiful job. I love you so much. I'll see you soon.